Good morning and good afternoon. Good night. You know, I always say this, depending on when you read this. Look at this. Look at me, man. Look at me. What I look like. I'm sweating like I almost sweat like a dog because I've never seen dogs really sweat except I see them doing a lot of panting. I'm panting, I'm drinking and stuff because humidity is hot and I'm in the shade now. I'm trying to make sure I take my own advice. But I want to, as you're saying, message is coming. I want to say a special tribute to the veterans, and I'm going to try to keep on scripting this one. You know, if you notice the videos I usually make, and I, in the sense that whatever God lays in my heart, it doesn't necessarily flow as smooth as you think it is. I'm a bit unpredictable, fast, slow. I'm having fun though, by the grace of God. As long as, please tell anybody, no one be offended by anything I say. I'm saying this all in love and care and concern. If I tell you something in a mean face or a harsh way, it's tough love, but meaning that I still love you. Okay? This is to all the veterans out there. Think about it. We just went away to St. Augustine yesterday, and we went to one of the army or military cemeteries, and that's only one of many around the country. I haven't gone to all of them. I keep hearing about Arlington. That's like the main one I hear in the news all the time. But I look at it, and I met with some soldiers, two nice soldiers, God bless them, who were there, I think, visiting friends and loved ones. It's hard to watch that. It's hard to see. I mean, you know, I watch movies like Midway and other stuff there, you know. I watch those things and I'm like, it's amazing. I know, little friend, I know. She's coming checking on me while cutting the grass. Yeah. I watch a movie like Midway, and you know, the scenes were like, to see the planes being shot down and just the battle is like, yeah, turn up the volume, yeah, turn up the volume, turn up the stuff, yeah. But you know, war is not necessarily what we think about it. And you know, I hope this doesn't go too long in terms of the video wise, but I gotta say this because veterans, we appreciate you. And veterans serving presently, veterans who were there before, veterans who are coming up, you know, some of them had to forge their birthdays to get into the army. This is not just in this country. This is around the world. From all the I listen to a lot of stuff about world wars, stuff in the Sino-Japanese War, or Sino-Sino, depending how you say it, the German War, the Russian. 20 million plus people died in just like 3-4 years. 20 million on either side. These are rough estimates, but I guarantee you the casualties and the actual casualties, those are just small numbers. What about the Civil War? There was a tribute along the pathway, and you really got to go see it in St. Augustine. There's a tribute along there of like the different plaques around one of the, kind of like next to the shoreline, of like plaques for the veterans and different wars they've been into. There's been wars for hundreds and hundreds of years, since back in the 1500s, even before that. Yeah, there was war in heaven. If you guys don't know it, there's a war in heaven. That's what we are where we are today, because the victor is trying to purge out the rest of the bad stuff that's happening here, which is the devil and his wicked angels trying to destroy us. So this war started, and war is not always bad, in the sense that if you fight for the right thing, then you fight for the right thing. But if you fight for the wrong cause, or causes you don't know about, then it becomes very hard to palate. What can you say for veterans? I mean, I have friends, and you know, on my age, I have cousins who are still in the army, who have gone out there, who are still in the army. They say, and this is no offense to anybody who have veterans at all or family members. I don't know exactly what I'm saying in terms of how to say it in a delicate way, how to say it in a way that lets people understand. But let's say, from the little glimpse that I've gotten in my little short lifespan, and to see what I've seen, I thank you. I really do thank you, because, and I'm sad and I'm happy at the same time, in the sense that you went through stuff that we will never imagine, we will never see. I heard stories of decaps and, oh man, I mean, we see stuff in the hospital coming in there from car accidents, kind of stuff. You have to see things. I've seen videos on RTT News and other channels of heads blown open and bowels disemboweled and stuff you hear about. I mean, I read stuff in the Bible that talks about these things, and I'm like, wow. And then I look at the type of military armaments we have today. It's amazing. You see them in the movies sometimes, and it's like, it's amazing. But it doesn't really even still add up to what you see there. The rail guns, it doesn't add up to what you went through. No one knows your story. And I pray that you will tell your story and that you'll be permitted to speak your story. You should not be muzzled. You should be allowed to speak it so other people and generations for years and decades to come to know, hey, this plaque is dedicated to. But why do you have to wait till the plaque is dedicated? Why not tell me now? Tell me a story. I want to hear it. I used to listen to my grandfather tell stories about how he's a fisherman and how he used to go around there and how things went on. And he wasn't always the greatest. He used to do a lot of things, building ships and everything to good. But then when he comes back, his brothers would kind of swindle the business out of his hand. Now think of the veterans and soldiers. I told you it's a tribute to you. But I still, whatever God lays in my heart, I speak. You've gone through stuff that people never see. You've sacrificed friends, loved ones, family members, relationships. You sacrifice, you put it all on the line. We talk about this when we see games and NBA games and stuff. They put it all on the line, win or go home. Sometimes it's just a draw. Sometimes there's no going home. Sometimes there's no win. How do you feel when you go there fighting, putting your life on the line, and you come back and there's no declared winner? The war has gone on before you, gone on with you, it's going on after you, and there's no end. And then you got to go back to life. My cousin says he don't want to go back to civilian life. He actually re-enlist in the army again. And I said, why you do that? Just come and live. He said, they don't understand. And sometimes civilian life is not the same as military life because there's a certain order, a certain discipline, a certain camaraderie, a certain friendship, a certain love you have in the army. Where they said, I like the idea where they said, leave no one behind. That they have there that I see it in basketball too. I see it in good workplace environments. I see it in a lot of things whereby I always wonder how these guys can practice for such a move whereby you can know your spatial awareness of knowing who's next to you so you can pass the ball. You know that you can shoot someone, but you gotta find out a friendly versus an enemy, a combatant versus non-combatant. How do you know to differentiate sometimes in the middle of a blur of a heat of argument? We heard of friendly fire because I tell you, friendly fire, I didn't mean to. And friendly fire can happen in, it can be personified, it can be, taken in contrast to something else. It means I didn't mean to. But at the same time, sometimes you don't mean to do something, and yet it happens. And then it's like, we can say we're sorry, but is the other party or anybody is willing to listen? So veterans, listen, God knows your story. I've heard some of the stories. I have a wonderful friend in Austin who told me a story, and I can't use his name as yet, but he fought in the Vietnam War, and I wish I can say his name to say how much I appreciate him. So if you're watching, veteran friend from Austin, you told me about trips you made to Saudi Arabia and other places, other stuff you've gone to. Your dad fought in the war. I think granddad fought in the war and you were fighting the war. And the war is still going on in different forms. When he came back, they weren't given the most welcome reception because the Vietnam War wasn't too popular back then because of any reasons. And people don't like war. Well, so we thought. But for now, there seem to be endless wars. And I want to see a lot more on that. And do you think it's fair that we have to have our soldiers, our boys and girls, or moms and dads, or aunts, uncles, everyone you can name under the sun, going and fighting wars, foreign lands that we're not even aware of, why they're fighting, where they are? Everything is top secret. Back then, they used to have to send letters and stuff to mail carrier to the military service. And I think they still do. I don't know the details. I wish someone would fill me in. I'd love to kind of get some more detail on them. And I'm not doing this trying to, let me get in there, get the veterans. No, but Veterans Day is coming up and Memorial Day is coming up. And most people see it as I do too, because in the sense that I didn't grow up with this stuff. I grew up in the Caribbean. We grew up, everyone loving each other, white, black, everybody in between, just hanging out, chilling, bathing in the sea, just enjoying stuff. But then there was also war there, the Grenada War. I think it was Code versus Gary. And I think it was in '83. I think President Reagan was in charge at the time. All I remember was hearing the island shake with a thunder of the helicopters above. And I'm like, what in the world is this? I was about 6 or 5 or 6. I can remember. And it's the first time I heard about Americans. And we loved Americans. We love Americans because we're like, hey, they were liberating us from what I heard was a possible Cuban invasion in Grenada. And I don't know the history. I left Grenada when I was so young, so I don't know too much, but people were assassinated. People were taken rescued from the colleges and of what I heard. And there was a coup. There's a lot of stuff I heard. I don't even know how someone can set the story straight. But a lot of people, wait a minute. My father is a police officer. Well, I say father, but, relationship ain't the best. So God be with him. But my father is Heavenly Father now. That's who my father is. Okay? And for those, I look at go back to the cemetery in St. Augustine. I see a lot of tombs that says, to the unknown soldier, a lot of unknown soldiers. And I see someone said mass graves, battles. I didn't know this Florida had a lot of Spanish influences and British influences and a lot of stuff. Passed to Great Britain and to Spain and to America back and forth. I mean, do you know how these lands were purchased? How these lands were fought over to Louisiana, California, Texas, Tennessee, New York, the colonies, the Indians. And I ask you, I don't know if I sent it in a video yet because I have some I want to load, but I don't know if it's too sensitive for some people. But it's like, you ask, what were they fighting for? Well, you're standing on it. I standing on it. What were they fighting for? To our boys and girls back then. And every now and then people do tributes. And I think rightfully so, you deserve the tribute. Because you fought for a lot of things that we would never know about. Fighting to defend us from enemies abroad and within. So I said, please, veterans, you have an amazing story to tell. And I asked those who are there now and those in military and leadership positions, please remember, we're not your enemies. Okay? We are on your side. But we don't want any more wars and fights. And I don't want to see any more bloodshed. I want everyone to go home. And you know, if you get on the battlefield, and maybe just go there and just play soccer. Or use the AI robots to have, robotic fights instead of something if you have to dispute something. If people are arguing over something, why do they have to shoot each other and kill each other? You shouldn't have to die for things. It's just ambush. And most times it's because someone feels violated or taken for granted. Because you look at the commandments, if God said thou shalt not covet, I think a lot of things are coveted means to take without prior authorization. To take something that's not your own or to go into to take someone's own. A lot of these conflicts happen because of things I may never understand. And so I don't want to speak about things I don't know. That's why I say I need you guys to school me and tell me. But from what I've seen in the stuff, but I know the history book can be rewritten. I know stuff can be changed. I've studied stuff in especially I like political cartoons. Things of mass markets and stuff can happen. And I keep saying, would wars be fought if there was no one funding it? So who's funding the wars in the first place? And yes, sometimes you have to because there are devilish, wicked actors out there in the world, bad spirits that are fueling people and pushing them to get into conflict. That's Satan because he loved the bloodshed and skirmish because when we die in our sins and fighting, we potentially could be lost because at a moment of time where, if you take someone's life, what's it called? If you take someone's life intentionally, what's it called? But there are different laws that apply to the military in times of war than it is, or rules of engagement as it is in civilian life. So if someone wants to harm someone in civilian life, ambush someone, they say, hey, homicide or bad things. But in the military, there are different rules for that. So I don't want to speak about things I don't know. We're just saying that I have not forgotten you. I will not forget you. And from what I've learned and what I'm learning, you guys gave a lot for us. And I want to see, I wish I can give this with a strong enough impact to let people know. This is reality. If people really know and understood what war is like, I don't think they want to go back. I don't think they want to war and fight anymore. Because the images come back to us, most of them are honestly filtered. We get little clips here and there for those who want to be as raw as possible. But then it's blocked and censored because it's too graphic. And viewer advice is too graphic. I can't even show you stuff I've seen. It's too graphic. I've seen stuff in hospitals. Sometimes it's too graphic. But the stuff you've seen in the wars, nothing compared to what you guys have done. So forgive me if this doesn't sound strong enough. Forgive me if it doesn't sound like impactful enough. Just say, I'm not going to forget you. From what I'm learning now, I'm not going to forget you. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done. I'm here sweating in the back and now kind of cooling up because the sun is going down. But you guys have to fight through mud and dirt, mosquitoes, snakes. I heard this. My friend in Austin told me sometimes they have to fight against reptiles and snakes. Do you know during wars they're shooting at animals? Not animals, but things that are trying to kill them too. Reptiles and snakes and bad spiders, malaria, dengue. Snakes, big snakes, python, all these things are trying to kill them too. So you have enemies with guns and you have enemies with venom. Oh man, we don't know what war is like. We see them do the training, and the training, these guys are like built, they're so strong. The guys I talked to yesterday, they're stocked. They're stocked and they're ripped to go to the training. The Navy sees all this stuff. And this is here's something. I'm not just talking about American soldiers only. Look at the stories I see in other countries. I see stuff in China. I see stuff in Russia. I see stuff in the British and everything else. I see stuff in Australia. I see stuff in Canada. Many people, I see these tributes and I'm like, we have these annual celebrations, annual events all the time. But do people really realize what it's about? Do they know how it is? It's to try to preserve these kind of beautiful flowers in the midst of a whole set of stuff and more stuff. And I'm just saying stuff like, not to say to put down any country, anybody, but just saying things I will never understand, things I might never see. But you guys did it. You put it on the line. Moms and dads, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, you went there and you, by the grace of God, somebody came back. Remember the one storming the beach of Normandy and stuff? And to have to be a commander to send people into that battle And then to know that some of them may or may not come back. To send young boys and girls into this thing, 17, 18, 19, I mean, maybe even younger, some of them, to send them into a battle and to know that they may not come back. You ask yourself, wow. To see someone's face, I would advise you, if just to get a glimpse of it. There's battles I watch here and there. I can't watch all of them because some of them have it's too much cursing and stuff, so I can't think it. But I would say, look at the story in Midway. We got a video on Amazon, Midway. Midway gives a very nice depiction, and it's very touching. This is of the Navy, the Air Force, and just all the combatants. They all, they don't all get along all smooth, but they did a majestic job to maintain and secure the homeland. Because humans, as I said, we think we can put God and the evil spirits, other things in a box and control them. We are touching with forces that we don't fully comprehend. They are forces driving us into serious conflict, and eventually, if it takes over, it will be self-destruction. So we may try to garner and try to govern things and say we can try to plan and plot. You heard the stories. I mean, people say conspiracy theories until they finally come true. But we think we can control these things. There are some things bigger than us, and we have to understand. We cannot forget. And if you forget, we're going to repeat, as we see us doing right now. We got to stop repeating this stuff. We need more peace. We need more love. We need more people to be at home and to be at peace, to be home, just farming, gardening, driving cars and trucks, just going to have fun and, defending things from bad stuff. Look like an Army Corps. Go and help to build, fix up the land and to protect the stuff like that, and to, to be defensive, but not offensive to go offending, There's a lot of things I want to say, but I can't say it in this format. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you now. And as I find more information, I'll let you guys know. But please, if you see a veteran there, give them a wave, a handshake, a salute. Hopefully I do it with the right hand, properly. Just give them a thank you. Give them a smile. Help them out. Housing. If you have the means to provide for them, help them in housing and anything you can do to help them. My Lord, because many of them come back and they've lost it all. You look at some of the things in California. A lot of veterans are now homeless. How could you be homeless after fighting so much for your country and they said they'll fight for you and defend you to the end? Many of them feel left behind and forgotten. Many of them feel like nobody cares anymore. Many of them feel like, everyone's just too busy. They're busier than busy. Why do we forget things so fast? Not saying it's intentional, but just life keeps going on, But I say, please, don't forget them. So this Memorial Day, please, on 4th of July and stuff, Independence, America was founded it has a biblical history and a biblical trajectory. So please, bugs bite me, 1 second. Please go thank a veteran today and just give tribute if you can. Make videos and just thank them. Give them praise, as God gives them for just a life and celebrating life on all sides, every country. Whether it's Russia, Ukraine, China, Australia, Afghan, everybody. Everywhere there's a war. Please tell them, please put down the gun and just play games, play sports instead, play soccer, do dance off, do something nice, put down the bullets and guns. All that money going into the weaponry, that can be done to build someone's lives better or to make more housing for them and to make more better stuff. But everyone keep thinking, well, if I don't, the next guy going to have to up on me. If I don't, they're going to have to up the ante. Surprise them. Surprise them with love. I don't know how to say it that way, but I think if you did it God's way, you have a much different return. Because in the Bible, there were times of wars against the Philistines. Remember in Exodus, there were times of wars even before that time. There was war. So this is nothing new. But the war will end at some point. God said in the last days, it will end, and good will win in the end. But for now, we have to play it out. So I say, if you have to fight for the right cause and the right reason to give God praise. You have to fight. I don't know what to tell you. You got to tell me. Thank you. Take care.